How society's social conditioning is hurting your dating life. We are taught things that don't make any sense, and when I point this out to some guys, it clicks. They realize, oh my goodness. I'm going to give one example of social conditioning that is hurting your dating life, and hopefully it's very helpful. But before we kick it off, I'm Dave, and this channel is dedicated to giving you no BS, novel dating advice for the modern man. In the description, I have a 3-part video series and a free PDF. Just click the link, and that will take you. Enter your email address, and I'll get it straight out to you immediately. So, social conditioning. We are taught in the mainstream media a lot of things that don't really benefit us. We're taught things that tend to negatively affect our dating success, and we're told things that are the opposite of what kind of makes sense when you really think about it. And I just want to give one example, because I did some coaching recently, and this guy was worried about looking too needy. Now, looking too needy is very common. People like to talk about that all the time. But the way he was doing it was, he was afraid of texting or calling the girl too much, or DMing the girl, or pushing for the date, because he thought that that would come across too needy. And it even got to the point where, say, he was using social media, so he was meeting girls and exchanging Instagrams, and so these girls were following him on Instagram, and instead of DMing the girl directly and using social media like you should use your phone, which is the dominant strategy, obviously, what he was doing was he was continuously posting on Instagram and trying to show how awesome his life was, hoping that they would come to him. And when you think about that, isn't that what women do? You know, their goal is to put on a good dress, look all pretty, prance around and dance, and then we come to them. But we've been social conditioned these days, probably for the last 20 years, into believing that we shouldn't even talk to girls. We should wait for them to come to us. And if we go to them, then we're looking needy. We look like we're desperate. And so when you really look at it from the outside and have a look at who that benefits women. So if you think about it, if no men are going over and calling up or DMing girls, or not really being, not really going after what they need in life or what they want in their dating life, and instead they focus all their time, you see all the gym guys that spend all time in the gym getting jacked and looking all pretty, but not actually doing any approaches. I've even heard of a guy that was talking about choosing signals. He says that he just waits for choosing signals. If he doesn't get any choosing signals, he does nothing. So this is kind of social conditioning, and that guy was a coach. Would you believe it? But if you look at it, all the men just stand there looking all pretty and dressing up as best they can, and the women get to just choose. We become the meat. We're the meat. It's a meat market for women if we're not doing anything. But you should think about it from the opposite way, where if you are going over to her, seeing if she's interested, approaching and calling and texting, and putting yourself out there, it is the opposite. You see, because you're taught that you're looking insecure and needy, and you're looking like it's a beta thing to be chasing girls, so you shouldn't. You should be alpha and do nothing. But I think the opposite is true. If you're approaching the girl and you're texting and calling to the point where she's like, look, sorry, I'm not interested, or she ghosts you, and then you're like, oh, okay. That shows more confidence, because think about it. You're going out there and forcing her to decide, and you're also more likely to get rejected. And by pushing it, so you find out faster, which means that you're more confident. I dare say because you're more likely to get rejected, and you know that. And so by pushing forward and trying to make this happen, by using social media the way it should be used, by as soon as you get a girl's Instagram, instead of just posting lots of stories trying to shine her off and try to look cool in her eyes and let her know that you're doing all these cool things, DM her, because you should be using it like it's a phone. It's either call or text. I think that you should be going after what you want in life and not sitting back hoping that it comes to you, because that only really benefits women. If anything, if you think about it from the opposite way, where if you're always taking action, then you're getting rejected. You're getting rejected more. You're DMing girls and you're getting rejected more as well. Then if she rejects you, you don't have to have her on your Instagram. You can block her and move on, right? She doesn't need to be cluttering up your social media, and you don't need to be prancing around, you know, in the public space, when really just use it and get to the bottom of things. Approach, DM, and don't worry about if you get a girl's number and you're texting, she doesn't reply. Wait a couple of days, text, she doesn't reply. Maybe give it the third time, text. Don't worry about looking needy. The goal is for her to reply and you to line up a date. If you're worried about being too needy, what it does is it stifles you and you end up doing nothing. The worst case scenario is that you spend all of your time trying to look pretty in the gym, dressing as best you can, and not doing anything with what you've worked with. You've made yourself look as best as you possibly can. Use it. Use it by taking action. And I think if you're not taking action, then all this time trying to improve yourself is kind of wasted, and some guy that is of lower mate value than you will end up sleeping with a lot more girls than you. Like me. Grandpa is probably lower mate value than most of you out there, and I'm probably getting a lot more success than most of you out there as well, because I take action. Really important. So hopefully this video has been helpful. And don't forget the 3-part video series in the description, and with the free PDF, just enter your email, and I'll see you guys in the next video.